Hello and welcome to this week's guided reading with me, Becca Handley, for the 13th of December through to the 19th of December 2021. So this week we have a full moon on the 18th. It's known as the cold moon in Native American culture. Mohawk tribes called it the cold moon. No prizes for guessing why. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, it's not the warmest time of the year. I'm just going to put my specs on, look at my notes. So other names are the moon of popping trees. Interesting. Snow moon, oak moon, the moon of exploding. Hang on a minute. The moon of frost exploding trees. Popping trees, I suppose it's that, the ice bursting on the trees. Interesting. Sounds like popping candy, but not quite the same. Anywho's, I digress. This week I am using a new pack, the Elemental Oracle by Stacey DeMarco, beg your pardon, Stacey. Yeah, it's quite an incredible, it's very powerful, slightly different to some of the other packs, kind of hologram on the front there. Yeah, so it's different to the ones I've been working with, and I'm still sort of getting to know it, but I like it. I like these the back of the cards are quite pretty as well, aren't they? Beautiful. Right, so I'll just have a quick chat about the moon. So it's coming up to the winter solstice, so it's that sort of long night, winter's night time. And nature can feel, I mean, again, it depends where you are in the world, but if you're in the Northern Hemisphere and you're subject to a winter, then obviously the trees are kind of much more bare than normal and we don't have so many flowers and nature can seem a bit kind of dead on the surface. But actually underneath there's lots going on. And some themes for this moon are rest, renewal and hope. So it's a little message already there is if things seem a bit dead in the water, trust that things can be reborn and renewed. And sometimes things are better. If something's kind of gone down, or it feels like it's kind of dying on some level, then trust that, you know, something new will be born. So that's a little message from the moon. It's a time of introspection, soul searching, a time for deep inner work. But it's encouraging us to slow down, to be more present in our activities, to notice our emotions, to find small joys. Time of peace, growth, reawakening, and shadow work. So shadow work is looking at the kind of slightly more not so pretty parts of ourselves, which we all have, and can often raise their heads in times of stress or tension. So yeah, it's about kind of getting to know yourself and what triggers you more, and yeah, and understanding that in others too, and finding some compassion in all of that. All right, so I'm going to do a little spread here. Oh, other things that I saw were nice little rituals for this new moon could be that you write a little list of things for your inner child to do over the holiday season. So things that give you joy. It could be that you create a little outdoor altar. So maybe getting some bits of nature. Nice thing to do with children actually is to create a little altar of, yeah, thanks. Somewhere where you can go and feel peaceful, or kids can think about the connection to nature or things they're grateful for. Collect things like pine cones and leaves. So it's a nice connecting thing. I think nature's really important. The land, the energy of the land, reminding ourselves that everything passes, you know, and there's a lot of noise still in the world. People are living with a lot of anxiety and fear. Some people, a lot of people. So even more important for us to kind of connect to sort of the consistency of nature and the cycles of the seasons and the moons. These things are consistent and they're not kind of fraught up in ego and control. They're beautiful and they can help us to stay much more grounded and healthy. Okay, so let's see what we have for Monday, Tuesday. Storms, cleansing. So that's quite a powerful card, isn't it? I mean, it's quite an emotive time. I mean, I personally have had quite a sort of challenging week on the emotional front. And this card is actually quite a nice message of things clearing and the kind of, you know, that sort of, you know, it's that heaviness and then something breaks, the storm breaks. And there's that kind of clean air that's sort of refreshed with the water washing everything away afterwards after a big storm. So maybe if you've been going through something quite difficult and tense, there is this little message of hope and there is something clear on the other side. But maybe something has to be said, maybe you have to communicate something, and it might feel, you know, uncomfortable, but sometimes we have to have that courage. I mean, this weekend, the last weekend for my reading was bravery, so it's encouraging us to be able to speak our truth, and trust that, you know, if we're speaking from the heart, things will shift, things will become more clear and more boundaried. So that's the message for the start of the week, cleansing. But, you know, also be mindful in how you communicate. Don't have to kind of bowl in there and create an actual, you know, huge storm in people's hearts and emotions. But there is something to be said about balanced, truthful communication. Okay, ooh, just knocked my little stand. Midweek, we have, what do we have here? Fluidity, outer core. So we've got a rather gorgeous maiden coming out of the sea. So it's the sense of emerging again, coming out of the waves, of the choppiness, and kind of cleansed, reborn almost. I mean, she's naked, so, you know, when we're born, we're naked. But she seems quite powerful to me. I'm just going to have a little look at the book, because again, I'm getting to know these cards and see what this one says. Number 12. Outer chord, be fluid in your thinking. Holding on to old ideas in a rigid way is not beneficial for you. A nimble mind is a healthy mind. It's never too late to admit you were wrong or to change your mind according to new information. So there's a message there, isn't there, about just watching our reactions, watching our ego reactions, being mindful that we're not getting stuck into patterns of thinking that limit us or frighten us, or frighten others. You know, it's really about, I think at the moment we're so being asked to look at our minds and the stories we tell and the stories we tell to other people, and yeah, just being, particularly coming up to the Christmas period, finding ways to be flexible. You know, there's that lovely Ram Dass quote, you think you're enlightened, try spending a week with your family. You know, it can be an emotive time, and again, most of us had a pretty full-on year, so just it's all about being mindful about how we communicate and how we see the world, and what we focus on grows. So we're thinking things are a problem continuously, we're feeding that. So sometimes there is really a case of, if there's nothing you can do about the situation, just step back from it, give it to the universe, and that's the way that shifts will happen. Okay, last card, let's see what we've got here. Oh wow, okay, got some incredible horses there as clouds. And again, it's kind of this theme. It's quite a sort of, if you're looking at the artwork, it's quite stormy, it's quite dramatic. So, you know, the energies are stormy and dramatic right now. They just are, and we're seeing it on all levels. But it's important for us to be able to come back to ourselves and stay grounded, stay centered where we can. Again, I'll just have a little look at the book here. 22. Be flexible yet grounded. There we go. Allow yourself free thought. Move and choose. Find your freedom. Use your voice resourcefully. Stand up for what you believe in. Be mindful of the way you communicate. So again, it's just like I was saying before. You know, it's important that we learn to speak our truth, particularly if you felt like you've been very sort of silenced over the years. And I know, speaking as a woman, women have historically been silenced and suppressed. So I think a lot of us females are being encouraged to speak our voice more, but at the same time, you know, it's important that we are mindful of people around us, and trying to get that balance. And we don't always get it right, but trying to get that balance between speaking your truth, but also not alienating or upsetting those around you. But sometimes it might ruffle a few feathers, and that's okay. You've got to be true to you. It's so important in these days that we find this authenticity and we allow other people to step into their own truth as well. Okay, I'm mindful that my video is a bit longer, like the old ones, so hopefully I can upload this. If you're seeing it, I guess I could. Take care and stay warm and cozy if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. Enjoy the warmth if you're somewhere that's sunny, and I'll see you next week. Take care.